Okay, we're ready to launch. We launched off in angle mode, and we have it on auto launch. And right now we're just going to let it run for a little bit, and then I'll hit return to home so I can set myself up, sit in my chair, and drop the goggles on the eyes. Right now it's in return to home, and we'll be setting up to make our range test. It is definitely very foggy on this flight this morning. The clouds are a bit lower, so you will see some on the range test. And I'll have to fly through some where I don't have really good visual, but then it'll clear up. Now we're just gonna start heading out. I have it on acro right now, and then I'm gonna switch over to cruise mode. We're taking it nice and easy. There is no actual active wind that's going to affect the flight, so we have no wind, which is great. It's just going to take its cruise. I'm going to get past this hill a little bit, and then I'm going to go to cruise mode. I was a little concerned about the heavy fog. Rather not to take this flight and test it, but I decided to just go ahead and go for it. As you notice, it's starting to get really foggy. So I tried to turn a little bit to try to get some clear area where there's not as much fog. And as you notice, that it clears up here, and then a little bit as we start heading in that direction towards our range test, we'll find out that the fog gets thicker. And then there are some clouds on our trip, as you noticed. Start cruising a little bit, and we're traveling about, I would say about 30, maybe between 29 and 30, 34 miles an hour at the moment. Nice and calm. The plane comes sometimes on this one, if there is a little crosswind, it affects it a little bit. As if I go a little higher in altitude, the wind may not be as much, but from where I was from the ground, there really wasn't any wind. Now here you're going to notice as I start cruising, it's going to get a bit foggy, and I was kind of determined whether or not I should turn around or go higher or go lower. So I decided, as I started peaking, you notice over there to the left, oops, now it goes switch over to the right, there we go, it starts clearing up. So there's a lot of those type of patches on our flight here as we're cruising along the way. I noticed that I did make an adjustment to keep the nose up in iNav at number 3, which is probably 3 degrees. I'm not sure if it's 30 degrees or it was going to keep the nose up. So as I'm in cruise mode right now, what's happening is if I go faster and I increase the speed, the nose goes up. And there's a certain point, I'm figuring out somewhere between 6-7 amps right now. At this point, I'm running about 6, 7, actually it's in 6.5 amps right now. The throttle is set to 62, so it's a little above half. And we're kind of dropping down a little bit on the speed. We're at 28 miles per hour, 30 a little bit as we're cruising. And you've noticed, look how thick the fog is there. Of course, some clouds have come down a little bit, but it's a mixture of the clouds and the fog at the same time. So when I woke up this morning, it was very foggy, and then I just waited a couple hours, and it cleared up a bit. So what I did before I took out the T1, I took my drone my Speedy B 5, Master 5. I took it up to see how bad the fog was. So at the time when I first flew it up in the air, it was a little bit too thick, so I decided to wait another hour or so, and it cleared up a bit. And now, as you notice here, it's really, really, really heavy here. Now it starts clearing up. Right now it's doing really good as we're cruising along. And it's staying, I'm not going to say perfectly level on the horizon bars. You notice it's kind of moving back and forth. That's how the plane does fly. It kind of goes back and forth a little bit, so you have to keep your hands on the stick. It's going to move, but it's really not that bad. It seems worse on the horizon bar, but it's not really that bad. So I'm cruising along. I'm kind of recognizing some of the roads that I'm cruising along. I'm taking a little bit to the left because some of the fog is a little bit not as thick. My signal on my HD goggles coming back from the transceiver on the actual aircraft is coming in the range of about the right now lowest at about 6 Mbps, 7, 11, 14. One of the things I did do, I did update the last firmware on the DJI website, the Assistant Consumer 2. I did the goggles. I noticed that there was something different on there. So as I'm going into areas where there might be RF interference, there is a message that comes up on the bottom of the right hand screen. It tells it that there is a transmission interference, and I don't remember seeing that, so that might have been the last update that I did, and that's what I'm seeing now, which is very useful, especially if you're flying into a highly residential area where there's a lot of interference. So at least you know to stay away from those areas if that sign of signal comes up. So right now we're cruising 14 Mbps right now. Right now we're just passing about 3 miles right now as we're cruising. Dropping down to 8, 6, 5. And it's still holding his video. There's no problem with the video. The video is still strong. Even though it drops down really low, which I've seen it go down to 2 and 3, and there is no loss of video. It's not like analog. Transmission signal interference is the message that comes up. Transmission interference signal. So we're going to be approaching 4 miles and here just shortly as we're cruising still in cruise mode. And you'll notice that your sticks are not as aggressive when you're in cruise mode. Now it's really clear here, and we're going to be turning around really soon here. The battery on here, believe it or not, we're still at about 11.2 volts, and that's on that Ovonic 2200 3S battery, and we're still doing pretty good. I could have went further, but I didn't. And we're still at 11.2 volts. We're at 20 satellites and still cruising. And this is right here, it's going to get really heavy. I think it's about this point here I'm feeling okay. I think it's time to turn around. I think the proof of my signal is doing really well. We're at 15, and our Express LRS, we're at 100. Our signal is 100 on our link quality. It's doing really good. Okay, at this point right now we are about 4 miles and a quarter right now, so no problem with it. I'm just going to go ahead and turn around, and we're going to head back. Here's our signal at 2, 3, and still did not lose any signal like on the DJI O3 air unit. If it got down to that low, it would freeze, and that would be it. You have to do either something to try to get your signal back, but on these, the O4 units are fantastic. especially this is just the DJI 04 Lite. It still works just as good as the 04 Pro, and I have the 04 Pro on one of my drones, and I think it's great. With that extended antenna, that makes a huge difference on returning the signal. So I'm returning back. That was about a 10-minute flight, about 10 minutes of flight there. So remember, I can get 25 to 30 minutes on the battery, and the voltage is still at 11.2. I'm keeping my throttle right now set to a return to home right now, and I did that because of the fog, just to make sure it makes it easy for me to keep the direction right and not to go too high or too low. So right now we are on return to home. It is at around 6.5 amps. 6.5 amps. The throttle position is about 46, I would say 46%, 42, 43. It's kind of fluctuating, and it's doing really well. It's gonna take a little time to get back to where I'm at, and it's as you notice, the fog, and there it's kind of a rural area out here, so it's kind of safe, not to worry about a heavy residential area, and because there's more farmland in this area, which is awesome. Notice the clouds are not that high. The clouds are pretty low, so I do have some footage that I go up a little bit on the clouds, and you can see the clouds from that, because it's fun to be able to see that the cloud images with this aircraft. So I'm going to go ahead and take it back, and then we'll go ahead and kind of speed this up a little bit and then get you to the end. Alright, we're coming in for approach for a landing. I have now dropped the throttle. I dropped the throttle right now to nothing, 2.2 amps, and we are coming in for a landing. And we're at 26.5 minutes coming in. This is the throttle is at 0. I'm lifting up a little bit of the elevator, coming down really easy, and nice landing. Look at that. That was my flight. A nice easy flight, and enjoyed that. I hope you've enjoyed it as well too. Take care. God bless.